When doctors report a false diagnosis of Munchausen syndrome by proxy to Child Protective Services from Johns Hopkins Hospital, causing a family to be destroyed in the year 2015. This is the story of Maya Kowalski and her family. Maya, now 17, states, "I want justice for my mother." Maya Kowalski, the 17-year-old, who was placed into state custody for 3 months after doctors accused her parents of faking her symptoms, has launched a lawsuit against Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, and a trial date has been set for September. "One day I was in the ICU, and my mum kissed me on the forehead and was like, 'I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.' I never saw her again," Maya said. "I was medically kidnapped." The ordeal started when Maya was 9, and she began suffering from excruciating headaches, asthma attacks and painful lesions that formed on her arms and legs, and cramping and curling sensations in her feet. When doctors at a local hospital were baffled with her medical condition, Maya's parents, Jack and Maya Kowalski, who were desperate for answers, started doing research on their own. Maya's mum, a registered nurse, discovered that her daughter may have the condition CPRS, complex regional pain syndrome, and after visiting a specialist, her condition was confirmed. Drive. Anthony Kirkpatrick, an anesthesiologist and pharmacologist in Tampa who specializes in CRPS, gave Maya the anesthetic drug ketamine through infusions, according to People. He then recommended a more aggressive treatment, described as a ketamine coma, where the patient receives 5 days of treatment to essentially reset the nervous system. The procedure, still experimental, had not yet been approved by the FDA, so Maya and her family traveled to Mexico in 2015 to have it done despite knowing the risks involved. "It was the only hope we had," Maya's dad told the news outlet. The teenager said she felt amazing after the procedure and continued to receive ketamine infusions to manage flare-ups, as the specialist said there was no cure for the disorder. But, less than a year after the experimental treatment, Maya was rushed to the Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida, with excruciating stomach pain. Maya's parents told the medical team treating her that she had CRPS and needed high doses of ketamine, which they believed was the only way to help alleviate their daughter's crippling pain. But hospital staff reportedly alerted Protective Services, who later accused Maya of child abuse due to Munchausen syndrome by proxy, MSP. Munchausen syndrome by proxy is a mental illness and a form of child abuse. The caretaker of a child, most often a mother, either makes up fake symptoms or causes real symptoms to make it look like the child is sick, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Maya was soon placed into state custody for 3 months, though a court-ordered psychological evaluation cleared her mother of any mental illness. Maya soon fell into despair after being unable to care for her daughter. And, when a judge denied her from giving her daughter a hug at a court hearing, it broke her. "It destroyed her," Maya's father said, and his wife became inconsolable after. In January 2017, Maya took her life. Maya was 43. She had spent more than 87 days without her daughter. An email was found after her death with the words, "I'm sorry. But I no longer can take the pain being away from Maya and being treated like a criminal. I cannot watch my daughter suffer in pain and keep getting worse," she wrote. Maya's father, who had also been in distress over his daughter getting ripped away from him and her mother, now had to share the unbearable news that her mother took her own life. "It was horrible," he recalled. Maya was eventually released into her father's custody and returned to her home in Venice, Florida. Jack told People that the hospital did not treat Maya with ketamine, and as a result her health worsened. She was also unable to receive ketamine treatments due to a court order. Instead, Maya tried alternative therapies including water therapy. He said it took about 16 months until his daughter was able to walk on her own. Maya is now able to use her arms and legs, but said she still suffers pain but is managing. More than 6 years after her mother's tragic death, Maya told the news outlet, "I just want to get justice for my mum. For us as a family to move on, we need to fulfill my mum's wish and fight," she said. When DailyMail.com reached out to JHACH, Danielle Casey, a hospital spokesperson, said they are extremely limited in the amount of information we can release, but provided a comment. "Our priority at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital is always the safety and privacy of our patients and their families. Therefore, we follow federal privacy laws that limit the amount of information we can release regarding any particular case, Casey said. Our first responsibility is always to the child brought to us for care, and we are legally obligated to notify the Department of Children and Families (DCF) when we detect signs of possible abuse or neglect. It is DCF that investigates the situation and makes the ultimate decision about what course of action is in the best interest of the child, she said. What is Munchausen syndrome by proxy? Munchausen syndrome by proxy, now called factitious disorder imposed on another (FDIA), is a mental illness in which a person acts as if an individual he or she is caring for has a physical or mental illness when the person is not really sick. People with this disorder lie about an illness in another person. This other person is usually someone in their care, often a child under the age of 6. In some cases, the dependent person can be another adult, disabled person or an elderly person. Another type of factitious disorder involves making up false medical conditions about yourself. Factitious disorders are considered mental illnesses because they're associated with severe emotional difficulties. Whether the false medical claims are about someone else or yourself, this condition can be dangerous. It can lead to unnecessary medical tests and even procedures while the healthcare team tries to figure out what's wrong with the patient. When a child is involved, FDIA is considered a form of child abuse by the American Professional Society on the Abuse of Children. Who is most likely to have FDIA? FDIA is most often seen in mothers, although it can also happen with fathers, who intentionally harm or describe non-existent symptoms in their children to get the attention given to the family of someone who is sick. A person with FDIA uses the many hospitalizations as a way to earn praise from others for their devotion to the child's care, often using the sick child as a means for developing a relationship with the doctor or other healthcare provider. There are certain characteristics common in a person with FDIA, including being a parent, usually a mother, but the person can also be the adult child of an elderly patient, spouse or caretaker of a disabled adult. Sometimes being a healthcare professional or having medical knowledge. Being very friendly and cooperative with the healthcare providers. Appearing to be quite concerned, some might seem overly concerned, about their child or designated patient. Possibly also suffering from factitious disorder imposed on self. This is a related disorder in which the caregiver repeatedly acts as if he or she has a physical or mental illness when he or she has caused the symptoms. What causes FDIA? The exact cause of FDIA isn't known, but researchers believe both biological and psychological factors play a role in the development of this disorder. Some theories suggest that a history of abuse or neglect as a child or the early loss of a parent might be factors in its development. Some evidence suggests that major stress, such as marital problems, can trigger an FDIA episode. In the case of Maya, the family was failed horribly. Maya, now 17, is suing the hospital, seeking justice for her mother Maya Kowalski. A Netflix documentary has been made about Maya's story. It will start streaming June 19, 2023. In the comments below, share your thoughts about this case. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe for more future updates on this case.